Hi and welcome to today's video. What I will be discussing are what are some of the best practices for management using for the critical path method or CPM. So let's move on. So the key elements that are as part of the critical path and the best practice, I would say, is one of the things that you need to do is really make sure you've got a defined project scope. Now, the importance of a defined project scope is gives you a clear route forward and understands what you are delivering, and you've had it all agreed with your stakeholders, and make sure that you have a baseline to start your project on. It will change because the world keeps moving forward, but it gives you something to start with, at least, that you can measure and assess where you are going. The next element is develop a project plan. Obviously, you need to know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, etc. And the importance of developing a plan is that you have a structured view of what's happening when and who's doing what at what time. And that's really, really key. And that will help you define the other elements of your resource management, etc. So the next element is resource management. Again, as we said in the project plan, when you develop your project plan, you would have had an understanding of what type of resource you need, how much, how many, what cost is associated with it. And that gives you a clear steer of where you may have bottlenecks, who you've got a dependency on, delays on, etc., which you can then build into your project plan. Another area is risk management. Every project has risk, and you have to manage risk. If you are not managing risk, ultimately you are hoping that everything goes perfectly well and that your project gets to the end without any hitches. That is not ever going to happen. It's always some degree of risk. You are working with people, you are working with suppliers, you are working with loads of independents. Everybody has a different requirement, and they all bring a level of risk. Risk management is really, really important, and it has to go through all the stages of project management and it has to be reiterated continuously. The next one is project monitoring control. You need to bring in some control within project management. This is really key. How are you going to know where you are with the project, how well you're doing, how bad things are going, what risks, how bad the risks are, the danger to the project, the financials. You need to have all those things monitored, resource, and all this needs to be reported to your stakeholders. So having some sort of project monitoring and control in place is very, very key and important as part of your critical path method. Across all other area methods, there is a degree of risk that needs to be managed, but this is one of the key areas, I say, within any project delivery that you need to manage. Next element is really making sure that you've got effective communication. Understanding that the people that you work with, who your stakeholders are, who your team are, who are your suppliers. If you are not communicating effectively with them, how are you going to get the message across of what you expect them to do, when to do it, how to do it, and get the results you need? Making sure you have a structure around your communication. How are you going to communicate? What methods are going to use? Asynchronous methods, whatever method you choose to use to talk to your individuals, need to be clearly defined. Some people like email, some want to be face-to-face, some want to be on Teams. All those things need to be considered, and that's continually being reviewed throughout your project. Finally, I would say continuous improvement in all areas. You are continually looking at the scope, you are looking at the project plan, you are looking at resource risk, you're looking at all your monitoring tools. Are they effective? Are they giving you the value you need? Do you need to do so many meetings, etc.? Do you need to do so many raid logs, etc.? Do you need to have this document, etc.? There's a lot of people who will throw things at you. As a project manager, you need to filter through that junk, I say, so that you are giving the right information to the right people at the right time. And that is a process that happens all the time, continuously throughout the project. Big one is learning from mistakes. As you start off in project management and you progress, you will find that there's a lot of things you will learn from, mistakes you will make, things you need to be better at. But that comes with time, and you will need to use those tools to better yourself and moving forward. Really, really important. And keep up with the industry trends at the moment. As you know, if you've done critical path, it's quite an old method, but everybody's moving to agile and scrum and etc. Trying to be agile, trying to use the word agile, but in my opinion, not everybody's ready. And again, continuous improvement. Look at yourself as a project manager. Do you need to do some training? Do you need to go out and talk to individuals? Speak to your colleagues. Can you do things better? Can we do less meetings to be more effective? Can we do different methods to communicate? Are we sending the right message to the right people? Are your stakeholders happy? All those things are continuously looking to improve, and you need to be doing that all throughout your projects. So in conclusion, as a summary, there are some very, very best practices, from my opinion, that you need to do, like scope, your project plan, resource management, risk management, financials, which I didn't cover on this one, but it's a big one. Your monitoring and control would cover that aspect of it from the financial side of things. Effective communication, and again, learn from mistakes. You're never going to get it right first time. You always have things to do better, and there are things you can do. So in conclusion, make sure you've got the baseline in place, which will help you move the project forward. But again, continuously learn from your mistakes. Thank you for listening today.